Tornquist from Kodiak. You've had a very eventful couple of months. Share price has gone up a lot, and we're grateful for that. Tell us more.
Right, then let me tell you Kodiak's story. First of all, thanks very much for putting together such a fabulous event, Simon and Roger. It's been a pleasure to be here. I'm aware of everybody's time, and it's been a long series of presentation. I'll keep it short and sweet and take you through our story. Please keep in mind I will be making forward-looking statements. And as a start, I'll have a quick overview of what Kodiak is about. We are a sister company of Great Bear Resources, which many of you will know, a major gold discovery and one of the best performers on the Canadian Stock Exchange over the last 2 years. Both Great Bear and Kodiak were founded by Chris Taylor, who is a geologist. Many people think of Chris as a gold guy because, of course, Great Bear is a big gold discovery. But Chris's background is actually in copper porphyries. He started his geologist career as geologist for Imperial Metals and drilled copper porphyries all over North America and logged, for example, the famous 1% over 1 kilometer hole at Red Chris. So having Chris as our chairman and leading our technical work is, of course, invaluable for Kodiak. Our strategy with Kodiak is very similar to the strategy that made Great Bear successful. We focus on previously drilled porphyry projects that haven't been figured out yet, and where we take a new interpretation and a new approach. And the other important pillar of our strategy is we look for very good locations and very accessible projects. And I'll talk a bit more about our MPD projects, which will illustrate this very well. We were successful right off the bat and made our strategy work with our first drill program. We started drilling for copper just about a year ago and had a very nice discovery hole in our first maiden drill program. And then this summer followed up with further drilling and drilled a hole that really was a game changer for the company. 282 meters of 45 meters of 2.75% copper equivalent. And I'll talk more about our drilling later on. We are well capitalized, just closed 12.5 million in private placement. So we have now over 14 million in the treasury and are motoring ahead with our work. And also worth highlighting is we are very tightly held. So hopefully that should set us up for more gains for our shareholders. And last but not least, we are part of the discovery group of companies, which many of you might be familiar with. That's a loose alliance of companies that includes, for example, Great Bear Resources, Fireweed Zinc, a couple of very successful companies. The group has been put together by John Robbins, a very well-respected and successful mining entrepreneur. And for us, being part of that group is very valuable. It gives us great access to technical people, to capital markets expertise, to contacts, deal flow, and so on. So we are a much stronger company as part of Discovery than we would be out there just on our own. Now let me dive a little bit into our MPD project. Here on this map, you see the location. We are in southern BC in a very established mining district. You see here MPD in the middle. 30 kilometers to our south is a large copper mine called Copper Mountain. And then about 50 kilometers to our north is another large copper mine, Highland Valley, owned by Teck Resources. There's also New Afton, a gold and copper mine. Lots of former mines, lots of exploration projects. So a very established trend, and for us, that's of course very favorable. We are trodden we are treading a well-trodden path. Everything you need for an exploration project is there, whether it's the workforce, the services, the equipment. It's very simple and cost-effective exploration. And what's also worth highlighting is just the accessibility of the project. I'll actually be going there this afternoon. It's a 3 hours drive from Vancouver, where I'm located now. I'll hop into my car, drive up the highway, turn off the highway, and it's a couple of minutes drive, and I'm right there at the project site. There's water, there's electricity, so infrastructure is all there, and that's of course also a big plus. That's one of the things we really liked when we acquired this project. As I mentioned, we are focused on previously drilled projects, and MPD is no exception. MPD has been drilled for over 50 years, first holes in the 60s. And here are some of the historic results. I won't bore you with the details. The key point to take away here is most of the historic exploration was very shallow. Almost all of those holes were somewhere between 100 and 200 meters deep, which is very typically how you would explore for porphyries 50 years ago or even 20 years ago. And that is where we saw the opportunity. When Chris Taylor walked this project, when we considered acquiring it, he walked across this large project area. It's in total a 10 square kilometer area that's been previously drilled, and he saw all the typical rocks that you see in the outer zones of a porphyry, lots of apidot, lots of chloride, all the green rocks that Jamie Wilkinson referred to. And his thesis was, we're on top of the system and nobody just drilled deep enough. And that's what we did. And we were successful right away. So first time we drilled was just about a year ago. We did a very small maiden drill program, 1,500 meters only. And here is what we found. This is our discovery hole that we were able to announce this year in January. It was a hole down to 800 meters. You see it here, this vertical hole here, near vertical. The overall intercept was 763 meters of 0.28% copper equivalent. And just to put this into perspective, the neighboring mine, Copper Mountain, their reserve grade is 0.24% copper. So that's the material they mine, which is just around the same ballpark. So that's a very encouraging intercept. We were very pleased with that. But what we really liked was that within this long mineralized intercept, there were some much higher grade zones. You see those on the left here, for example, 210 meters of 0.52% copper equivalent, or 102 meters of 0.68% copper equivalent. And that was obviously very encouraging that we were able to intersect some higher grade zones. And it was these zones that we targeted with our follow-up drilling this summer. So this summer, we set out and drilled the project further. You see on this plan map what we did. In total, we've so far completed 6 holes, just about 5,000 meters of drilling. We are at the moment on hole 7. And you see here the vertical line where I'm hovering with my mouse, the original discovery hole from January. And we went east 190 meters and then drilled 3 holes across to the west at various different angles. Then stepped out 75 meters to the south and drilled another 3 holes across here. And when we drilled the hole number 4 here, we saw right away the core that was coming out of the drill that we're onto something. It came back in the morning, the core from the drillers in the core box with a very big smiley face drawn onto the core box with the Sharpie pen. So we rushed hole number 4 through the lab, the first section of hole number 4, and got that back in less than 10 days, and just at the same time as hole number 1, which went to the lab first. So those two holes were the results that we recently came out with. That's the first two holes where we have results out of 6 that have been drilled already, and obviously things are ongoing. So it's only the start, but here is what we got. That's the best section of hole number 4. As I said, the top and the bottom of the hole, we don't have the lab results yet. But this middle section was an intercept of 282 meters with 1.16% copper equivalent. And the best intercept section in this intercept was 45 meters of 2.75% copper equivalent. That was obviously a fantastic result. We were very pleased with it. The market very much appreciated it. It was nice to see, to get a reaction. Our share price took a nice jump, and the result created a lot of excitement. We had lots of interest in financing. We had banks and institutional investors. We had strategic investors interested. And in the end, Tech Resources put an offer on our table that we couldn't refuse. And we just closed a financing of $12.7 million, where Tech came in as a almost 10% shareholder. And I'm of course very pleased to welcome such a big and well-reputed company as a shareholder. The fact that they invested at this very early stage in our exploration is a great vote of confidence into the project. They wouldn't invest if they didn't think this has potential to be big. So great to have them in the boat, and that means of course now we are well financed for our further work. And this hole really was a game changer to the project. We have now our work cut out to follow up on that and drill some more. You see on this map here where we are. So here in the corner is the gate zone discovery. As I said before, it's a 10 square kilometer area that was historically drilled with some very interesting near surface drill results. We have poked a couple of deep holes here in this small corner, and the door is now wide open. We will of course test this gate zone area further. We have also other targets across the property at Dillard, for example. So it will be a very busy next couple of months and 2021, and lots more work to do, and we're only really just at the start. We will have some more results coming in the next couple of weeks from the holes we have drilled already. As I mentioned, 6 holes are at the moment in the lab. Hole 7 underway, hole 8 is already planned, and we will keep motoring on, and will then look into scaling up our drill program over the next year to generate more value for our shareholders at the drill bit. Last but not least, this is our capital structure. We are very tightly held, 44 million shares outstanding. That should hopefully set us up for further good share price performance. At the moment, we're hovering around $3 approximately. And as I mentioned, Tech is now a large shareholder of the company. So it's exciting days for our companies. We have our hands full and a lot of work to do, and a lot more potential to unlock for our shareholders. Thank you.
Claudia, thank you for an excellent presentation.